Hey everyone! It happened to all of us. You go to an event with a certain blaster and that blaster is either malfunctioning or not functioning at all. So today, 5 good habits to keep your blaster performing. I'm thatoldnerfguy. Welcome to that. Five good habits to prevent blaster failure or to keep your blaster performing. Those little 5 habits are something I have in my routine before event and after event and even sometimes during event. And here they are. And the first one being, keep everything lubed and clean. What I mean by that, it's not because your blaster is lubed that it is clean. Sometimes it is good to just open the shell to clean the part inside. Sometimes it's the bolt sled, even more if you're using the stock one. The metal one too needs to be lubed so they don't carve into the shell of the blaster if something happens. Plus the plunger tube itself, if dirt get absorbed inside and get deposited inside of your plunger tube, over time you will either rub off the finish of your plunger tube or just wear out the O-ring prematurely on your plunger. Plus, keeping everything lubed, like I said, will prevent some plastic chewing when you're using a metal part and plastic part together. It will prevent premature wear of any O-ring and it will keep your blaster sealed. So that lubrication and that cleanup is very, very useful. That was for the first habit. The second one would be more of a storage thing. Basically, if you have the opportunity, because not every blaster can be open to remove the spring, you don't store your blaster with the spring in. Otherwise, most of the time for a blaster with long spring, they will end up all twisted, all deformed, not really optimal for performance, and by losing their shape they will lose some strength. Therefore, even if your seal is perfect, you might lose 10, 20, 30, even more FPS out of a broken spring. Even worse if you leave your blaster prime. So a good habit to prevent any spring failure is to store your blaster with the spring out. I mean, most of my blaster, my Nexus, my Swift don't have the spring inside. My Prophecy neither. You can see it's completely empty. I don't store blaster that can have no spring inside with their spring. That way they performs better, they perform longer, and my spring lasts quite a bit more time compared to other ones, because yes, spring will lose FPS over time. When you compress them too much, they end up shortening a little bit, therefore losing some strength to push your plunger inside of the plunger tube. So keeping your spring out of your blaster, it can fully extend without any pre-compression. This way it lives longer. My third good habit will be storage related and related to the first, lube and clean habit with your blaster. Again, not all blaster will allow you to do so, but when you have a chance, try to not leave the pusher fully engaged into the barrel / the dart gate. This way you will help the front pusher O-ring to keep its shape. Let's take the example of my Prophecy again. Let's take the Prophecy. Let's imagine I take it after a long time. There's a couple of things that can happen. Let's say it's winter, you haven't played 6 months, you go outside, you take your Prophecy, and the first shot don't go out the barrel because it was kind of hard to prime. Sometimes the O-ring will stick to the metal part because it's been compressed too long. Sometimes it will just be compressed too long and therefore shrink a little bit, leaving some air out, breaking your seal again, breaking the performance, and not making your blaster function at its best. Not all blaster can do that, but when you go to, let's say, Adventure Force Pro, you can disengage the bolt from the dart gate. Same thing goes with the Prophecy. There is that little slot at the beginning that allow you to disengage the pusher. Every time you have the chance, if you can do it, you do it like that. That will help your blaster last longer. Not all blaster can do it, but if your blaster can do it, it might be a good idea to not leave the pusher engaged. This way you will ensure it will seal the next time you will use it, and the O-ring will last much longer, even more with metal part. My fourth good habit with blaster would be, let's say, a two-part A and B. The first part would be know your blaster. Be sure you know every corner of this blaster. If you like using it, if you really enjoy this blaster, make sure you know how it's work, how you can open it to maintain it, and what is, let's say, a weird feeling. Let's say if something goes wrong, you will notice because you know the blaster. And knowing your blaster in every corner will help you address the situation right away. Then there will be the B, because once you know your blaster, B would be make regular inspection of it and a good visual inspection of mechanical part. Some of them can be misaligned, unscrewed, sometimes the O-ring can go off the plunger. You need to be able to notice, maybe before gameplay, to prepare your blaster, you make your good round inspection, or from time to time, if you know you use it a lot, check it out. And for that, I'm going to give you an example. With my prophecy again, I'm going to go on the table and make a small visual inspection of my blaster to address some issue I had on my last game, where the blaster was just not catching every time I primed it. One thing that you will notice that happened in the past, because into that inspection you're gonna also assess of the integrity of the shell. You don't want any crack to break something inside. Clear blaster are good like that. This is not a crack. This is a scratch that was made a long time ago because one of the screws dislodged itself from there and stuck there. That was the second screw here, the one that is supposed to lock the first one in place. I don't like to use the second one. The original kit didn't have any. My main problem was it was not catching. So I'm gonna bring it back, and it's okay, it's going back. Is it? Yeah, it's pretty strongly attached there. So I guess that wasn't my problem. Maybe I was not bringing it all the way to the back. And that where my visual inspection and what I like so much about clear blaster is going to be useful. You see, when I'm moving this pump grip, the screw right here is moving a bit. Meaning the bolt sled, yeah, it's a bit loose. And can easily see here there is some hair and dirt on the tip of my pusher. So basically what I'm gonna do is clean the tip of my pusher, re-lube that thing, and I'm gonna have to remove those panels from here and the barrel, because unfortunately the barrel shroud hold the panel on each side of the blaster, and I will have to re-tighten those screws. But I might just put some Loctite or thread lock into those little hole, screw down the screw down there so everything is tight and it doesn't move anymore. So that might have just been my problem, not bringing the plunger far enough in the back, because the bolt sled was not pushed. And if I would have taken the time to screw down those before I went to the event, I probably would never have problem, because I think I shot 5-10 shots out of this thing before it stopped catching in game. That was not very pleasant. So a good inspection will save you a lot of trouble on the field. My fifth and last good habit to keep your blaster performing would be, don't use worn, dirty, or damaged dart into your blaster. A dart that got some sand embedded in it will just scratch and buff the interior of your soft alloy barrel. This will cause damage over time that you will not notice, because not everyone will remove the barrel, take the barrel to a light to see how it is dirty, if it is dirty, or if it is scratched at all, and then might complain of sealing problem when everything is fine with the rest of the blaster except the barrel has been shot with bad dart. Having a habit of using new or almost new clean dart into your blaster will boost the longevity over time. I mean, over years. It will be on long term, but it will prevent you from changing or damaging the interior of this barrel. Plus, the whole behavior of the blaster will be better. Not to mention that feeding dirty dart to your magazine will put dirt inside. It's not always easy to clean. When you can clean them, it can jam something else. The dirt will jump on the upper part of the mechanism. If you go, again, let's talk about the prophecy, or CEDA will be the exact same thing for that matter. If you take the CEDA with the plastic bolt slit and it get dirty with sand inside and you just prime it, it will chew up that bolt slit eventually. This is like clear polycarbonate. It will not completely chew through, but it will chew the top part, and at some point something will crack, and when it will crack, it's pretty much done. Unless you change for an aluminum one, you will be stuck with a broken blaster. It is not a fun situation. Keeping fresh dart for your blaster will keep it clean, will help you with every other aspect and the maintenance of this blaster, plus it will keep it in pristine condition. And those were my 5 good habits to keep your blaster performing. That's it for this video. In the meantime, you can always follow me on Facebook and Instagram at thatoldnerfguy. Please leave a like and comment, subscribe for more content. Don't forget to hit that bell to notify for my latest video. This was Dave Patag. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.